CS and the NLCS this weekend. I'm excited about that, but also excited about our trips up I-95 and the Jersey Turnpike to the great Garden State home of Bruce Springsteen, who I met in Freehold a couple of weeks ago, if you saw my Facebook page. The Ravens will be playing the Giants this week, the Jets next week. Certainly a good time to be going to the Meadowlands to take on a couple of struggling football teams. We have our own problems here with Mark Trestman being fired and Marty Morningwig, of course, taking over the play calling. Jim Cherusmi covers all things Giants and Jets for the Wall Street Journal. You can follow his journey out at the Wall Street Journal or WSJ.com, as well as on Twitter at Jim Chair, just like it sounds, Chair. We welcome Jim Cherusmi for his maiden voyage here at WNST. What's going on, Jim? How are you, man?
How are you? Thanks for having me.
Good to have you on, and good to have the Ravens having seemingly a soft spot here on the road schedule. Time will tell. We thought the Redskins were soft until we couldn't beat them on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, this is the perfect time to play both New York teams, actually. And it's a pivotal game, I think, for both teams, from the New York team and for Baltimore side, because I think the New York teams are looking at Baltimore as a win for them as well to get off the schneid.
This week you wrote about breaking down the broken Jets. I mean, they sort of feel left for dead. The Giants could sort of resuscitate their season with a victory this week, although it doesn't look good. I mean, the last 3 weeks, it's been a struggle for them. I watched a lot of the Packer game on Sunday night. I think they lack of good football players right now. I mean, I'll give Beckham his due and certainly Eli Manning, but they got a lot of issues there, including on that offensive line.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it all starts with the offensive line. I think if you look at the Giants in the first 2 games, we were talking about perhaps one of the best best receiving trios in the NFL with Beckham, Sterling Shepard, and Victor Cruz. Of course, Green Bay proved, they shut out Cruz. They limited Beckham, and Shepard was a non-factor. So suddenly this trio is maybe just one. But I think it goes back all the way to the offensive line. Eli Manning getting pressured. He's not having time to even look at his, receiving threat. So it really comes down to that. The Giants kind of have a lack of a running game. They've been missing Rashad Jennings for the last 3 games. They lost Shane Vereen for most of the season. So that will affect the passing game too.
Bobby Rainey running the rock. We're familiar with him around here. He used to run the rock in our second and third preseason games every year.
Yeah, I mean, entering the preseason, he was 4th on the depth chart behind Jennings, Vereen, and Orleans Darkwa, and now he's the prominent third down back now for the Giants and also getting carries in the regular offense. And when you have that, as you said, it's a problem because it affects everything else. The offensive line having trouble blocking for Eli Manning, also having trouble defending, like making room for the running back. So when that happens, it's a big problem.
I've been doing this a long time. I mean, the football team's been here 21 years. I've certainly seen some incidents between reporters and players. I've been a part of that nonsense when Rafael Palmeiro chased me with a bat 20 years ago. So I've seen all of that. But football players generally are different than baseball players, and I've covered all the major sports, quite frankly, over 32 years. I find the baseball players to be a bunch of sissies and babies and, have rabbit ears. I find that football players, especially in the modern era where they've come up on the Twitter experience and social media and playing at big-time college programs, they've all been called names to some degree or another. I found it really interesting that the Eric Flowers would take umbrage with a reporter in the locker room. You don't hear a lot of that these days.
No, absolutely not. Every once in a while you'll see reporters get in arguments or something with players, or players yelling at reporters, but you rarely see it getting physical, so it was very much a rare incident.
For you with Eli Manning and where he is at this point and the change to McAdoo from the head coaching standpoint, this offense was pretty good under McAdoo. Getting it back to where it is it just about the offensive line, or is it really about the running game and the running backs at this point and health?
Well, I think, when the Giants they won their first 2 games, when they were going well, it was really about the passing game. It was about big plays from Beckham, Cruz, Sterling Shepard, and getting the ball downfield. That's what Eli Manning likes to do. That's what he's known for. And, because teams are taking that deep threat away, the Giants are going to have to dink and dunk and rely on the running game. And that's not what they do well, and that's why they've been struggling to score points. I mean, I think they're 27th in the league in points per game, and that's a problem when you are relying on big plays and the teams are taking that away.
Jim Trusby covering all things Wall Street Journal, all things New York football. The Giants this week, and of course the Jets next week. We got a little space on our Giants bus if you want to jump on. Toss me an email or hit the Trips tab at WNST.net. The defense, Olivier Vernon was given a lot of money, a lot of promise. Didn't sack the quarterback a ton in Miami. He had one good year a couple years ago. This has been a pretty big disappointment, this front four and really the front seven to get pressure on quarterbacks, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they spent $200 million in the offseason on Vernon, Damon Harrison, and Denarius Jenkins, and they haven't really been. They've been good. They've been, they haven't been a bust, I would say, but they haven't been tremendous factor. The Giants just got their first takeaways last week against Green Bay. Jenkins intercepted 2 passes, so you can't take that away from him. But they haven't been dominant, and when you spend $200 million in the offseason on free agency, you expect dominance, and that hasn't been the case. JPP
getting on the other side of the hill at this point?
He's not the dominant rusher when that was there when the Giants were winning Super Bowls. He's still a good player. I think, obviously he had that hand injury. He's been playing nearly every play on the defensive side of the ball. He hasn't been making the impact that you would expect from the JPP, but he's there, and he's just not the same player he was 5 years ago.
A lot of veteran guys, Eli Apple, Leon Hall, different guys in their secondary. How's the secondary looked and held up? I mean, I saw Aaron Rodgers sort of picking apart, and the Ravens are going to try to throw the football here, and the Ravens have had their own turmoil this week at the offensive coordinator position.
Yeah, I think that's where the Giants have been vulnerable on the defensive side of the ball. I think the front seven's been okay, maybe a little bit above average. The secondary is really banged up. Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie is battling hamstring injury. Eli Apple, the first-round pick, also battling a leg injury. I think it's a groin. Both of those guys played. Rodgers-Cromartie was limping the entire game against Green Bay. Apple started the game and didn't finish the game. So teams have been picking on Trevon Wade, who is their backup corner, and I would expect the Ravens to do the same.
He is Jim Charushmi. He covers all things New York football, Giants, and the Jets for the Wall Street Journal. You can follow his journey out on Twitter at Jim Chair. Let's talk a little bit about the Jets and what their problems are, because I won't talk to you next week, but we're going to be up there playing the Jets next week, hopefully as 4-2 instead of 3-3. The Jets appear to be, a real problem team here right now. It doesn't feel like there's any signs of life there. And you talk about injuries, they've got massive things going on there, right?
Yeah. Eric Decker's out with the shoulder. Unclear when he's going to return. Darrelle Revis didn't play last week. They're an aging group. David Harris, the middle linebacker, got hurt last week. They're an aging bunch. They basically pushed all their chips into the table. We heard a lot in the offseason about Ryan Fitzpatrick and the quarterback situation. Of course, he threw 9 interceptions in 2 games. He had a clean week last week against Pittsburgh. But that's just too many turnovers.
But he's been brutal. He hasn't been the guy you had last year, right?
No. He's been terrible. Anytime a quarterback throws 9 interceptions in the span of 2 games,
you're not going to win.
Problem. Yes, you're not going to win, and the Jets haven't won. The thing about with the Jets is they've been in these games. You look at the final score, 31-13 against Pittsburgh. It was 17-13 going into the fourth quarter. So the Jets, that's sort of the story every game. They're 1-4. They've been in every game into the fourth quarter. They just make crucial turnovers in bad spots, and you can't win in this league when that happens.
Tough spot for them. They're going out to Arizona on Monday night. It's going to be short rest for them next week for the Ravens. So, Ravens are going to get a softened up version of them one way or another, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Jets have had a brutal schedule. They played 5 of their first 6 games were against playoff teams from last season, and the other game was against their former coach, Rex Ryan. So, Baltimore, as I said earlier, Baltimore was looking like the easy game on the Jets' schedule, but suddenly not so much.
Well, they do play the Browns after us, so behave now, right? Don't put us in that category. That'll be bye week. We're on a bye that week. The Jets play the Browns. It could be like a bye for them. Jim Charushmi joining us here from the Wall Street Journal covering the Giants and the Jets. Great visit with you, man. Thanks for coming on, spending some time with us.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
You got it. You can follow him at Jim Chair, Chair, out on Twitter, as well as at WSJ.com. That's the Wall Street Journal site. Great of him to come on. We also had Jared Diamond on earlier in the week talking some baseball as well. You can find that and anything else you miss in the Bio Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device. Just download the TuneIn Radio app. We come in crystal clear anywhere you are. The morning newspaper ships to your email inbox. That happens at 7 o'clock every morning. That's powered up by Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com. Still $10 a month to get in shape there. And you know about our WNST text service. Monday morning, if you were on it at 9:33, you got the text that said that the Ravens had parted ways with Mark Trestman and had promoted Marty Morningweg from quarterbacks coach to the offensive coordinator. That's all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. And Dennis Kolatzos will be here on Thursday, driving you home, getting you ready for Thursday night football, playoff baseball, and the Ravens and the G-Men on Sunday as well at the Meadowlands. Still got some space left on our bus trip up to the Meadowlands. If you want to join us there, throw me an email, nasty@WNST.net, or click on the Trips tab on our website. It's also available on your mobile device as well. CJ Mosley on Tuesday night at Buffalo Wild Wings and Owings Mills. Nice stuff there. Thursday night, Greenmount Station and Alex Lewis and Zach Orr. A couple new guys. We haven't had them on. Good to chat with them. If you're up in Carroll County, Finksburg, Eldersburg, anywhere up there, we'll be in Hampstead on Thursday night at Greenmount Station eating those delicious crab cakes with two of the baby Ravens. And Zach Orr's been around a couple of years, but it'll be good to get out and chat with him a little bit as well. All for the Bone Marrow Registry and for There Goes My Hero and leukemia patients locally and throughout the state. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Taos in Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.